Sarah will be a bit late joining today. She's recovering from a slight injury.
Oh, what happened?
And there's something with her neck this morning during the swim. So she's just been off to the physio to get some treatment.
Oh, good.
A bit uncomfortable, but nothing serious.
Mm.
Hello, Anne.
Hi, Jonathan.
How are
Nice
you?
to see you. I'm doing well.
You doing good?
10:30 at night. I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, we don't normally see you at this session, do we?
No, you don't. But I'm up
No.
tonight. So
Good.
actually, I often come in lurking a bit, watching it on
Right.
the YouTube.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Good.
there more often than you think. I've been known to fall asleep as it gets later and fail
No
to go out,
surprise.
fail to leave, which makes
Right. Safer to watch via YouTube then.
right, unless I'm up for sitting up. Yeah, watching it. Anyway, it's good to be here. Nice to see you.
Good. And Carmen, how was your Christmas and New Year?
Yeah.
Just normal?
Yeah, just normal,
Right.
just friends, family, and resting and taking care of my cats because of the fireworks. They
Oh
were
yeah,
so
right.
scared. Yeah.
How about you and Sarah, Jonathan? What were you up to? Were you quiet?
Fairly quiet, yes. Our active day was Boxing Day. We watched the start of the Sydney Hobart yacht race on the harbour. Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting. That would
From
be
a
fun.
boat. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, wow.
From a boat?
Yes. Yep.
Oh.
It's sort of one of the ferries converts to just taking people around on the race day to watch the start. It's a great spectacle, actually.
Yeah, it would be. Nice. The only spectacle we've had recently is rain.
It's rain.
A lot of it.
A few more people joining.
Right.
I don't see Ajan's. Oh, yeah, she's there. Let's see if she's. Ajan, are you there?
Yes, สวัสดีค่ะ everyone.
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์สวัสดีครับ
อาจารย์
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์ครับ
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์
Ajan, are you there?
แต่อาจารย์เอาซูมเชื่อ
Hello, Alan. So let's see if anyone has anything to begin the session with.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hello, Sally. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good.
Everyone,
Good.
thank you.
Any questions or comments from anyone? Dao, anything from you?
John, I like to follow.
I just listen. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Yes, please go ahead, Hang.
Yes, I listened to the discussion this morning, and why Kun Sukin asked Thanachan about when we know the something already, is no more asava. Sorry, the subject of the discussion this morning about the asava, and when we know the something already is no more asava, and it's another kind of defilement. So I'd like to hear more about this, Thanachan and John and anyone. Thank you.
Shall we say that even there is akusala right now, that which is not known, so very subtle, so very weak, can it be known right now? For example, is it you, Kun Hang?
No, it's not me.
Really? Really? No, you at all in life or in truth?
Yes.
Is that you right now?
Actually, it's still idea of eyes there, but follow
Even
what
those,
I, I
yeah,
have.
Even no thought about it, because thought at that moment is not asava, but that which is there before anything else. As soon as whatever is there appearing, experience, it's something, or no understanding of that. Who knows that right now there's no understanding of seeing at all? Even that is seeing. And that is asva, that which is not known because it's so very weak. While one is fast asleep, no kilesa arising at all. Because even it's there as anusya, but no object to be liked or take it for something. But as soon as one wakes up, is there no kilesa? Who knows? When it's not kusala, it is akusala. So as soon as one wakes up, something there, and the very weak kilesa, unknown, is there too. Right now, is there kunhang all the time? Oh,
Yes, the
only
idea.
sometimes. And
Yes,
that is tittasava, taking it for I, and cling to it, wanting to see, to hear, on and on and on. Bhavasava. And what is seen as the object, sensuous object, as soon as it's there, it conditions kamasava. We see and hear and think all the time about the sensuous object, even it's not there. And whenever it's not known, it does not show up as I like it, I want it, I take it for something, not as it appear as that very moment, but it's there even it does not appear. But when it's not being fast asleep, it's there akusala. And therefore aswa is there. One is kamasva. See, everyone would like to experience that which is seen, heard, and so on. Only 5 doorways, and the mind will just keep on thinking about it, playing with it, taking it for something all the time. But at moment of liking it, it's not asava because it's known. I like that. But when it just be experienced, there must be kilesa, avijjasava, not understand the truth, and there is clinging to what it is as something, sensuous subject, and so on. The kilesa, which is so very, very weak, very, very slight, is asava. As soon as it's not moment of being fast asleep, it's there. Even now. And do you want to see? Or not at all.
yes,
From
I
now
still want
on.
to see. Yes,
And that is pavasava. Want to be seeing, want to hear, always something in life, each moment.
So, Ajahn, thank you for that explanation that there are realities arising that are not apparent to us at the present moment. I'm just wondering, are you suggesting that there should be more getting to know of these realities that we can assume are arising but are not known?
We learn to understand the truth. What is there now appearing is not known yet. So should we try to understand that which does not appear but is there all the time? For example, are there, Jonathan? See, yes or no? All the time from birth on to death. Jonathan is there. Just wake up. No need to say I wake up, but I is there. At moment of seeing, see, clinging to seeing. Need to thought about that. It's a burden to see at all.
I think it must vary from one individual to the next, the extent to which the seeing is always I, taken for
Really?
I.
Really? It's not known, but I see already, right? Now.
Well, if it's not known that it's I, you say it's not known that it's being taken for I.
Am I
Then,
sitting or lying or standing now? Or no I?
well, I think depends on the individual whether
What
there is that
moment?
reference.
What moment is not me, is not I?
Do you mean consciously
I
taking it
just,
as me
we
or I?
just, we just talking about the truth. We don't use the technical the term at all. It's at any moment. There's no I.
Well, I would say yes. There are moments not I.
So it's not used as you are seeing right now.
Well,
Or are you
if you
seeing?
ask the question, is it you? Of course, then one's attention is directed towards the question. But normally, when one is
So,
talking, one doesn't think it's
so,
me who's talking.
so when it's that moment of talking about, do you see? Is there I? Or I is not that
Mostly,
lost?
I would say mostly no.
No, Jonathan,
Right.
before
Mm.
at all. Is that possible?
I don't
Who's
know. I'm
who's
just telling you
sitting?
how it seems to me. So
Are you
other people may
sitting?
be different.
Are you
Sorry.
sitting? Are you
Well,
sitting?
if you ask a question like that, of course,
So, when
we're
it's not,
talking about, I thought we were talking about how it normally seems to be in a day.
so, so when we don't talk about it, it's still I unknowingly
Well, it might
at
be,
all, at
but
all.
it's not known. That's exactly what I was
But
saying.
it's
It might
you. But
be, but
it's
it's
you
not known.
still. But it's you, even one asks you or not. It's you sitting, seeing, walking, thinking, or no you. What
That's
moment
not
is
how it
not you?
seems to me, because when the attention is on, for example, what is being seen, then
So,
there's no attending to it's I who am doing the seeing. So normally, if
okay,
one is
okay,
watching television, for example, the attention is on what is being seen.
okay. If you don't, if no one asks you at all, as soon as you wake up, no you, no you.
Not particularly.
What do you mean?
Other things to think about.
No, even that.
Don't have to
Who
think
thinks?
about it's me, it's me, it's me.
So
I'm
there is
awake.
the idea of me only when there is seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, or even now. Close your eyes. Know me. Or there is the unknown I. Very, very weak I.
Well,
So
quite possibly, but if it's unknown, then it's unknown.
it's different from when you are fast asleep. Nothing appear at all. But as soon as it's not the moment of being fast asleep, something is there. Who sees or who thinks? Not you or I.
Not particularly.
What moment there's no I? Even it's
Well,
there unknown.
when one is thinking about something else.
So it's not you who is thinking about something.
Well, it would be, but you don't think, oh, it's me who's thinking. You're
But
thinking about
but
another
who?
subject. There's no
No
thought
one.
about who is it who's thinking.
No, no need to say who's thinking or I, Jonathan.
Mm.
No, no need. But just wake up. Who wakes up?
Well, these are conventional questions. So
No, it's true. It's so true. Who wakes up? No one, no reality, no Dhamma. Or what is it? Who wakes up?
Well, I've never asked myself that question.
No, no need to ask, but it's there already. No need to ask, but it's there from birth. But anusaya does not arise at all. But the moment of
Anusaya does not arise, does not appear, you mean?
no
Arises but
anusaya
does
that
not
cannot
appear.
arise at all. It's
Oh,
just there
anusaya, right,
accumulated
yeah.
anusaya. But as soon as one is up, it's not anusaya. What is there as avijja?
Well, I think wrong view is a particular mental factor that there are its conditions for its arising, like other
Can it?
mental factors.
Yeah.
So
Can
it
it?
doesn't necessarily arise all the time. We know when there's attachment, there's no wrong view, or
So
when
no
there's conceit,
you.
there's no wrong
No.
view.
So no you.
I'm not sure what you're getting at there.
I talk about reality.
There can be me with attachment, me with conceit, or me with wrong view.
When?
Well, depending on conditions.
Not at moment of sleeping at all. When it's fast asleep. Is that right?
I think we're talking about waking moments, Ajahn.
We just talk about
We know that
each
deep sleep is
moment.
bhavangajita.
Yeah. Yeah. We call it Pavankajita. No idea at all. No
Right.
object of experiencing. That's why we say
Right.
fast asleep. But as soon as it's moment of waking up, see, just then, it's different from moment of sleeping, being
I'm
fast
sure it
asleep.
is, but there's
So,
no appreciation of the moment of sleeping.
if Buddha
So
didn't talk
to say
about,
it's different is just to make an assumption.
yeah, but if Buddha didn't talk, say about asava at all, who knows?
Right.
So when
Asava,
is,
right.
yeah,
We
when
know
is,
there's asava, but that's
yes.
different from saying there's continually an idea of I and me.
So what are the asava? How many asavas are there?
Is the number important?
No, because it cannot be less or more. The truth, the nature of reality by way of
Kamasava,
asava.
titasa, bhavasa, and
Okay,
avijasava.
okay.
But I don't
So
think the number's important.
I don't mind. We just talk about anyone, but not less than 4 and not more than 4, right?
Well, the asava are just realities. There's no
Yes.
different reality called an asava. So certain realities are given the designation of being asava, but that's an arbitrary thing. It's not a fixed.
When
And
it's
there's no difference in the attachment that is an asava and the attachment that is not an asava. Just has the same characteristic.
when
but
we
the
talk
term
about
asava just designates that they are arising at a very low rate. And I think any reality can arise at a very weak level also.
so when we talk about 3 kinds, we don't talk about the dasava for sotapanna, but for the
Right.
person who's are not sotapanna for asava, not less or not more.
Well,
Is
when you
that
say not less and not more, Ajahn,
it
as I
cannot be
say,
just by way of
any
what reality
any
can
rea-
be asava,
any
what
reality can
reality.
arise at a weak level. There can be weak
So
dosa.
what about the meaning of the 4 asava?
That's a reminder that these in particular are to be understood as being prevalent all the time.
And what about the other group, 7
What 7?
or 10 kilesa, akusala dhamma, akusala cetasikas?
There are many different groupings of
By
both kusala and akusala, and these are for helping to understand the life at the present moment, but the groupings themselves are not Paramattha Dhammas.
So one can change the truth. One can change the truth.
No, one can't change the truth,
Okay.
Ajahn.
So we just talk about one asava, can we? Shall we?
Sure.
To understand it. What the first one that
The
we were
asavas themselves can never be the object of understanding. That is to say, the reality can be understood, but as asava cannot be understood.
by different accumulation, different degrees of understanding. So now we don't know if Buddha didn't say anything about the four asava, or it can be the three or two, depending on the eradication of akusala. But usually there are four kinds of that which is so very, very weak, unknown. For example, when one just wake up, there is what is there? Not anusya, but what is there experiencing the object, depending on which kind, what kind of reality, vipaka and surya. But when we talk about asava, it's very, very weak. Not the moment when you like something so much. It's not asava. So when we talk about different degrees from the weakest and on, more and more, so great. Different words like kilesa, lopa, see. So when we talk about kamasava, it's the
It's there, but
clinging.
it's unknown, Ajahn. That's the point. It's unknown.
So it's there
All
now.
the asavas are unknown.
Okay, so it's there now.
We can assume it's there, but we
Not
can't
at
know it's
all.
there.
It's so weak that it cannot be known because it's not as much as strong as the other level.
Right.
That's why we talk about when it's asava, it's not the moment I like it so much, but as soon as it's not anusya, when one just wake up, it's there unknown until Buddha talked about the four asava.
Yes. Thank you, Ajahn.
I don't know whether someone will have different idea.
Well, let's see. Let's
But
find out, Ajahn. I think
it can
Anne's
be
waiting to
proved.
say something by the look
Yeah,
on her face.
yeah. It can be
Is that right,
proved
Anne?
right now. See, I'm Sujin. See, not Sujit.
Well, of course.
Sure.
Alberto, do you want to add something to the discussion? Or are you just smiling because you're enjoying it?
Yeah, really interesting and discussion. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, John.
He's not taking anything further.
Not gonna bite.
Yes, go ahead, Anne.
Yeah, it would seem that although we don't know, how do I put it? Asava, it's if we don't know it necessarily because it doesn't appear. It's nonetheless there as very weak asava, whichever kind it is, but without, I don't know, for me it explains a lot. I mean, there's so much that appears but is unknown in the terms of in terms of panya. But there are many moments where, like for instance, am I here now? Is there an Anne as we talk about this? Well, I don't think about it, but I certainly don't think that, and I don't think about whether there is or there isn't, but there's something, and it's asava, and I'm thinking it can arise anytime interspersed with other moments. where they can be known, which can be known. But there are many moments that can't. How do we, the idea of us, someone existing, until there's sufficient panya that is eradicated, there is something there that is not known, that is nonetheless, well, it's a very weak asava, because there has to be something. And we're not always seeing or hearing. And I find it just the waking up in the morning or waking up after a sleep makes sense, because while you're asleep, the kilesa are carried in every jita, Bhavanga jita and all of them. But as soon as there's waking and before there's sort of even recognition of what's happening, there's something who is waking. And that's before one is aware of, well, you probably don't start by being aware of seeing, but you can be aware that the sun is shining or it's cold or something like that. And I think the moments there before there is awareness of, we take it for something, which is incorrect, unless if it's not understanding of a reality. But there is something there. There is existence. And we may not
what
be.
I like.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Sorry, I thought you'd finished. No, go ahead, Anne.
I've had a little bit of discussion about this, and I'm thinking that of all the moments in life where we're not thinking about ourselves, or we're not thinking of self, we're not thinking of self exists, self isn't exist. But as we go about our daily business, I think there's unconscious, unknown, very, very weak asava, very, very, very weak. I guess it would be diti, avijja, bhavasawa and kamasawa, that we're not, that can't be experienced. And yet, once there is enough understanding of dhammas, they will slowly, they can be experienced with strong enough panya, and then they're just not there when there's enlightenment, whatever stage. I don't know whether I'm making sense to you, Jonathan, or anyone else or not, but I just, yeah. I think.
Thanks, Anne.
Definitely good to recognize. I think it's good to recognize that there are lots of moments where there's clearly the seeing. It's not correct, but we often think seeing is me. It takes a lot of understanding to understand that no seeing is seeing. It's not you, because there's no you to see, and yet it's
okay, can I just chip in here? I think also we have to distinguish between the moments when we take seeing for me and the moments when seeing is recognized as not me. But there are other moments when it's neither right view nor wrong view.
But and what the asava would be is the very, very weak wrong view. Or
and when
there's
weak wrong view, it's not appearing. So at those moments, there's no apparent sense
right.
of
That's
taking
right.
things for I.
That's right. That's right. But I guess there are in life, I think in the example of the after waking up, that example is we don't think about it and it's not apparent because it's so weak. But it's not right. It's not deep sleep, so it's not anusia, and yet it's too weak to be known because you wouldn't there are the it's almost a transition. Betty, it seems that you might need to turn your mic off.
Okay, I thank you. I would like to add to this. The other day on the Saturday discussion, we had such a wonderful discussion about this, but it's all atta all the time practically. I mean, like 99.999, whatever, of the time. As long as there's a perception of shape and form, as long as there's uh the idea of a sense of a I doing this or I doing that, it's all atta practically all the time. I'm sorry, I just got back from the hospital. I have influenza A. But anyway.
Is
So
that an
that was
I who has it? Yeah. Is that an I who has it, Betty?
so so I'm doing this on my phone because my TV has decided I should do all kinds of little extra things to get YouTube now, and I can't do all those extra little things. So we're doing it on my phone.
What about when there's the conceit of I, Betty? There's no wrong view at that moment, is there?
Well, but conceit is comparing. There's more when there's conceit. There's more of a comparing.
Conceit is waving the flag.
Waving the flag.
Yeah, waving one's banner. Self-importance.
Yes, that's part of conceit as well. But there's a comparison idea.
When we think that
if
people
I'm
need to know,
waving my flag, I'm thinking I'm more important than somebody else.
Right. So there's no wrong view at those moments. So when we think
we've had this discussion a number of times, and your view of wrong view is a kind of a very narrow one. Whereas for me, wrong view is always, even when we're not thinking in terms of Dhamma, we're thinking in terms of I, and the moment we open our eyes, we're seeing shape and form. There's the perception that there is a being here. That's wrong view.
Oh, wrong view is a mental factor.
Yes.
An unwholesome mental factor. It's wrong understanding.
Yes.
It's wrong understanding.
That's right, and that's what's wrong.
It's
Oh,
more
I see.
than
You're making a differentiation between wrong understanding and wrong view.
No, they're the same.
They're the same. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it's
that's
not
what
just
I think. Yeah.
Thinking about a cup or a table.
Yeah.
Because there's no view involved in that. There has to be a wrong perception, a wrong
well, yeah,
belief,
as soon as you perceive
a wrong belief
that
about the way things are.
But if you believe, I'm, for instance, I'm eating my lunch because I just got back from the hospital. Okay, I see sandwich. I see, as soon as I think sandwich, I've got wrong view, because
if it's just a thought, no, because there's no belief about what's right or wrong, what exists and doesn't exist.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a wrong understanding. Like right understanding is understanding the way things are. Wrong understanding is belief that one does understand, but one is mistaken.
Okay. The one understands, but it's incorrect.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Is it the difference between ignorance and wrong understanding?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is there a difference? Well, ignorance just doesn't
Is there a
know
difference, right?
anything. Yes, there is a difference.
Yeah.
Because again, with ignorance, there's no necessarily belief that one understands.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Well, perhaps it's time we invited Ajahn to speak again, because I fear I've said rather too much. And
no, you don't. No, you didn't say too much.
And I'll keep my narrow views to myself, Betty, and let Ajahn speak. Are you there, Ajahn?
What we are talking about now?
Yes, we're talking about the extent to which there is wrong view in a day, not just, and we're talking about wrong view as the mental factor of wrong understanding.
How many levels of wrong view?
That's a good question. I don't think I know the answer to that.
We just talk about Titta-asava, right? One kind of asava.
Yes, Ajahn, yes.
We don't talk about the wrong view, which everyone understands that it's wrong. But what about wrong view, taking that which is the self as self? More
Yes,
subtle.
but taking it as self is different from having a thought of me or you or something like that.
That's why so many different levels of akusala unknown. For example, the Titta-asava and the wrong view, the 62 Titi in Tipitaka. See, that is not enough more than that, but that just as example or as much as everyone knows. So reality are so very subtle. So many different realities are now arising and falling away unknown. When we learn about different moments, we just learn little by little what are they. But there are so many degrees or the appearance of each one. For example, there is seeing right now. Okay?
Yes,
Does
Ajahn.
anyone ask oneself, just like at the moment of waking up, there can be the question whether there is I. No doubt, no question, but it's there already, right?
Well,
Or
it may or
is
may not appear.
it does
It
not
may be
appear
there
so?
at a low
Yeah,
level as an
yeah,
asava. It may not appear.
yes, yes, that's it. That's why we learn to understand about asava and anusaya and other levels too, to understand that which appear to be known is what moment. For example, at moment of like this kind of food so much, it is apparent. It's known that I like it, but I is there too. We cannot
Isn't it just
understand.
attachment, though, Ajahn?
Yeah. We
When there's
cannot
strong
understand
attachment, is there any thought of it's I who's liking it?
if we don't talk about it. We just think about the food. But what are there? What realities are there arising together at that moment? We learn to understand to let go the idea of self or something because it's already there. And we learn little by little about the very subtle reality, like anusya does not arise at all, but it's there accumulated each moment now from seeing, hearing, so on. Accumulate avijja and attachment. So it is avijja sava and kama sava and bhava sava. It's me. cling to that. No matter it's the worm or the bird, it just has no idea to be other thing else. But it has a vasava of its nature. That's why we learn to understand realities, which is so very subtle, that can be known and that does not appear to be known enough, but it can be just understood because each word of the truth is to let go ignorance and attachment. Because just some only few words cannot eradicate ignorance and attachment and other kilesa at all. That's why we learn a little more about the reality which can be understood. And we learn that there are so many realities that cannot be studied or understood or attained at all. Like the arupajana, see, if we don't know, we might not think whether it's there or not. But when it's known, studied, one realizes the condition to be that level of kusala or whatever, which is not known. If we don't talk about the nature, the truth of reality. So now we talk about ditti. It's so many degrees, okay, as anusia and as asava and as kilesa and as whatever is there. Learn to understand what is really there in life from moment to moment, unknown, to be known little by little. For example, there must be the idea of self, very, 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 how to say, weak, unknown, that it's there. Whatever one does in one's life each moment, just for I, is that not true? So learn just to understand the truth, that's all. Little by little. That's why we have discussion, we have talk to understand different angle, aspects of reality that can be studied, that can be known. So now, even there is asava, just to know that it's there, very weak, not like at the moment when we just want to drink. See, even that it's not moment of clinging or desire or wish to have such and such, even just to drink. It's not asava because it's there known that it's the moment of wanting something. That's why life are different moments of different realities conditioned by each accumulation, on and on and on. So Panya has to develop to understand the truth, on and on and on, to let go. So very, very subtle reality as akusala or kusala. Should akusala be eradicated too? See, we learn little by little. It's different from akusala. It's more wholesome. It conditions the pleasant results. But should it be eradicated too? More understanding, little by little. So now there's no understanding of seeing. So there cannot be the question, is someone see? Because usually no question, because I see. That's why we learn to understand the truth. What is that which arises by condition to see? It covers up the whole truth too about Dhamma, no matter what. There must be conditions for whatever arises to be different because of the different moment of conditions. That's all. It's so true. Even Buddha taught about many things, but what can be known, what can be experienced is only through six doorways. There is citta before seeing and citta after seeing, not known at all. What can be known is only the nimitta of seeing. So no doubt what are there between, before seeing and after seeing, the different levels of akusala, unwholesome moment, and so on. What we experienced in the day is not all, but only some, through 6 doorways only. That's why learn to understand the truth. Begin to have firm confidence of the truth. What is there is not permanent. What is there is beyond anyone's control or wishes at all. No, and beyond expectation. But in order to realize the truth that it's beyond expectation, there must be the understanding of one by one reality at that very moment. Otherwise, how can there be the precise, very sharp understanding what pops up after this moment? If there's no awareness and right understanding of what can be known, it's only that which has arisen right now only. So just learn to understand the truth. No one can do anything because they are all dhammas, different realities. It has its own function, its own characteristic. Gradually letting go ignorance, attachment, and wrong understanding of self. When there is a moment of understand the truth, just a moment, comparing to how many moments in samsara in years and years ago to be absolutely, ultimately eradicated, never to arise again. So it has to be very great, very highly developed right understanding to understand the truth of this very moment. That's why it has to be understanding the moment now, because it has a reason to understand that it falls away and the next one pops up, but not as just only single reality or single moment. Just learn to have confidence of the truth, and the panya, the developed panya, begins to let go unknowingly. That is the subtlety of the path, which can develop to the degree not just understanding by words, but also the moment when it's there, gradually, stage by stage, to let go the idea of self, ignorance and attachment, and other kinds of reality, gradually, so very little comparing to the amount of the number or enormous accumulation of ignorance and attachment. So how much understanding it has to go to develop stage by stage, firm confidence of any word which condition the letting go of the idea of self, because it's conditioned to be such and such level of each reality. And there is a story in Tipitaka, and it's so very funny. I will ask someone to tell you because it's so very funny about doubt whether am I this one or I'm that one.
Alberto, are you familiar with this one?
I'm trying to think. I can think. No, sorry.
I can't. Tanajan can tell us a little bit more. What Nikaya is it in? Do you know?
I don't know whether I don't know exactly the story because it's so long, but I'll just tell you little by little. It's about the two boys, different parents, cousin, and the one has theผมจุกคุณโจนาธานเด็กคนหนึ่งไว้ผมจุก เด็กคนหนึ่งไม่มีผมจุก
top knot ท่านอาจารย์ it's a top knot
ค่ะคุณจิ๋วรู้เรื่องนี้ไหม
ไม่ทราบค่ะ
ตลกมาก
top knot
ค่ะและคนผมจุกเขาจำว่าเขาเป็นคนผมจุกชื่อนี้แต่วันหนึ่งพ่อแม่เขาเอาโกนหัวเขาเพราะว่าเขาตื่นมาเขาสงสัยว่าเขาเป็นใคร เป็นพี่หรือเป็นตัวเขาเหมือนกับที่คุณแอนพูดเมื่อกี้นี้ใช่ไหมตื่นมาแล้วนี่มีคนหรือเปล่าเป็นเราหรือเปล่าตลกไหม
I can animate it so the boys with the top knot always remember that he's the boy with the top knot and then one day his parents cut off his top knot and he woke up and he couldn't remember whether he was the same boy ท่านอาจารย์เชิญต่อค่ะ
เท่านี้นะคะแต่มันตลกอ่ะแสดงเห็นถึงความไม่รู้อย่างที่คุณแอนพูดเมื่อกี้เนี่ยตื่นมาเป็นเราหรือเปล่าหรืออะไรที่เขาพูดเมื่อกี้นี้นิดนึงแต่อย่าไปท้าความเลยค่ะเสียเวลา
So that was it that that he woke up and then he couldn't remember whether it was him or who else that's it yep.
Yeah well I find that one difficult to relate to
พออ่านแล้วต้องหัวเราะทุกทีตลกมาก
Yeah it's funny but doesn't reflect real life as far as I'm concerned it's more like a made up story than something that really happened
and not really understand anything at all about the truth
I guess it could be made up but there were times that I traveling a lot and different time zones that I just went to Mexico and I woke up there and I don't remember where I was and I was kind of started then wondering where am I who am I
well they're two very different things where am I and who am I are totally different kinds of things
who am I too like after the deep Pawankajit and then you woke up and said who am I
no you are you
right ท่านอาจารย์ but it's getting very detailed since Kun Ann and Hang is here that I could remind that this morning we continue our discussion about this Anusaya and Avasava and I found that this was so detailed so I don't know it made me think all morning and I couldn't get my mind off and when you were discussing with Anne I was driving so I didn't want to interrupt or saying anything because I'm a bad driver but I think I understand what Anne was trying to express because it was so even we don't think about ourselves but self is already there whether we have to put the I into it or not and that's how detailed it is and there were a moment like yesterday I was thinking about the foundation work all the time and when I stopped thinking about it because I'm quite upset that I couldn't handle it properly I was driving when I stopped thinking about it and I thinking about food so I can see my akusala that arise all the time with my anger with my everything that thing is not according to what I want it to be so whenท่านอาจารย์ said about Anusaya and Asava which is even weaker lighter thinner and I'm only feel that all the rough thing the stronger kilesa that hitting me quote unquote me then and I feel that my atta is there all the time and when you say Titthasava and I see that I'm still can't get over it because I have this I all the time. I don't know whether I'm clear or not. I hope I express myself right. Thank you.
Right. คุณจิ๋วค่ะ That's your understanding, your idea. But it's so true. Like that boy with the top knot. Doubt who am I when there's no top knot. When we just wake up, usually there's no question who am I or whether there is I. Because it's that I already thinking about that. Unknown.
But I think, Kunjil, you were telling us about a time when the idea of I was particularly strong. And so at other times, it's not there in the same way at all.
It seems like there's nothing, but actually there is you, right?
I'm
Right
not
now.
sure what you mean by that,
Okay,
Ajahn. It seems like
okay.
there's nothing, but actually there's you.
So where are you? No more.
Sorry.
Or I'm sitting. No
Now
more
that you
you.
remind me, yes, I'm sitting.
So it's I, even you don't say I'm sitting.
I can be a label. Doesn't have to be a view.
No word, but it's you for sure. No matter sleeping, waking, talking, drinking, thinking.
Well, it may or may not appear like that.
So no need to eradicate it, because sometimes it's not there. Or it's there very deep until it's ultimately.
Well, it's there as asava, as we've been saying, as
That's
the Buddha
it.
explained. But
That's it.
The thing about the asava is it's not appearing. If it's there as asava, then at that moment it's not appearing.
When it appears, it's not level of asava.
Correct. Yes, agreed.
So we learn
but
every
time it's there as asava, it's not appearing.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's asava.
But still the question of what appears and what can be the object of awareness and understanding is
Is there
there.
you?
So, sorry?
Just the question, is there you? What's the answer?
I don't know. I think it's a trick question. Is there you? Because you're implying the answer is yes or no.
Because there must be you, or it must be you all the time, no matter you think about it or not. Even at moment of being fast asleep, nothing appear. But when you wake up, it's I waking up. So I slept. But at moment of sleeping, nothing appear at all. But there must be anusya kilesa. That's why we talk about different levels of akusala. Otherwise, asava is forgotten, anusya is forgotten. But in truth, it's there. But when it's so weak, it's not apparent to me though, at all. So is there asava?
So this will vary from one individual to the next.
I think for everyone. I think that for everyone. It's the asava.
What about when there's just attachment and liking?
Before that? Right now?
No, at the time of attachment and liking.
It's known, it's apparent, it's not asava, which is now. Now, at this moment, asava is there. No need to say, I'm sitting. But I'm sitting is the unknown. So when someone asks, what are you doing? I'm sitting, I'm walking, I'm standing, I'm working. See, I is there, or no
Right.
I at all.
So if it's there unknown, as you say, then it's not appearing.
That's why Buddha taught about asava.
Right.
Because
So it can be there but not appearing.
it can be when it does not arise, or when it arises, but it's not moment of enlighten the truth. Otherwise, no need to say about asava
And
if it's not there.
realities
Yes,
that are not appearing can't be known.
but can they be understood? Can it be understood that it's there, but it's not consciously known?
Well, that's not what we talk of as understanding, is it? That's not direct understanding to say it's there, but it's not consciously known.
But Buddha taught about it, about asava, so he
Yes,
knew.
yes,
Yeah, so he told
yes.
us about it to be known.
Right. Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm quite happy with that it's there, but not consciously known.
Hmm. Right now.
But I don't think the aim should be to try and see something that's not consciously known,
Would
because
that?
there's the Buddha taught the understanding of what appears. So there can be awareness and understanding of what appears. It doesn't matter that there's a lot of wrong view that is there but not known.
That's why we learn about Panchatavara Vachana, Sampatichana, Santirana, and so on, to know that it's there, but it does not appear.
Right. Yeah. Because it's any understanding of any reality helps to eventually to eradicate all the different kinds of kilesa. The Buddha didn't teach that in order to eradicate kilesa, one should try and see the very subtle occurrences of that kilesa so it can be pinged by awareness and understanding.
Because he said, what reality can be known through what thou way.
Betty's trying to speak. Go ahead, Betty.
Okay. This problem of understanding when wrong view kicks in, and it's also because of our language. You know, every language has pronouns. Every language is always couched in terms of I, you, because it's based on the wrong view we all have of reality. We open our eyes and automatically we see everything's got shape and form. We see other people who have shape and form. We see, so we're living totally in a world of wrong view, and that's the whole point. Even our languages follow that wrong view uh, of this that increase the sense or what do you call that condition a sense of self as well. Uh, so uh, so wrong view to me anyway, and I think John was saying that the same thing, is this constant idea, whether it manifests totally or whether it's an asava or whatever it is, it's always there, this wrong view of self, unless there is a nano moment of understanding arising about a particular reality. But otherwise, it's all up there all the time. And
What
it's
about
all
when
wrong
there's
view all the time.
What about when there's metta, Betty?
When it's what?
When there's metta.
When there's
Metta.
metta. Yes,
Yeah.
even okay. Even if we're all, let's say, uh, uh, gusala actions are being performed. Okay, and so we have gusala actions, which are which are moral actions, good actions towards other people. We have giving actions. We have actions in which we teach Dhamma, or okay, so we do any of these Gusala things, there's still the sense of, oh, I gave food to the monks this morning. I bought a present for a friend because I really like to give a present to her.
I was actually asking about the mental state, the moments of metta, not the physical action, but the moments.
Oh, all right,
metta.
the moments of metta, yes, and the moments of metta, but in moments of metta, there's a sense of joy because you're doing something that's morally correct. Okay, that's morally good to someone.
There can't be wrong view. Couldn't be wrong view at moments of any kind of Gusala.
Yeah, but wrong view in this sense only talks about the idea of whether there is a self or there's a no self. So if there's the no self, anatta, then it's still going to be wrong view because it's thinking in terms of I did that, or I gave that, or I feel good because I gave a gift for my friend.
I think different moments, Betty, when Ajahn says there's wrong view all the time, clinging to self all the time, it doesn't mean literally at every moment. Moments of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, no asavas. At moments of kusala, no asavas. At moments of sampatichana, santirana, no asavas. But so quickly, even in the sense store process, unknown after those vipaka citas, when no kusala arise, which is most of the time, so quickly there is kamasava, bhavasava, didasava, or avijasava, so very, very quickly. So almost all the time. So it doesn't mean at every moment. So moments of metta, no asavas, but so quickly afterwards, at moments of thinking afterwards, then the clinging, the unknown ditty is there.
No, I've got tea. I can get tea.
Yeah, I agree with that, Sarah. I think it's momentary because
everything's
so many
momentary.
are arising so quickly and falling away so quickly, and they,
I've already dropped. Yeah.
Metta doesn't have to be many moments of metta in a row. There can be all sorts of things.
And the reason the Buddha taught about the asavas is just to show how the deep-seated clinging, the deep-seated ignorance, the deep-seated wrong view is there, completely unknown. So when someone may think, oh, I've listened to Dhamma, not much wrong view arising, it means no understanding of the asavas at all. Oh, Carmen's going to join in too.
Okay.
Yeah, because probably it's wrong thinking, but I'm wondering in this moment if there is akusala in that moment, there is a subtle asava as well, understand feeling of I. But what Jonathan is saying, in the moment of doing good, there is no I involved.
No,
in that present moment.
No akusala at that moment of
yes, that's interesting, right?
So doing good, like conventionally, someone may think at moments of giving away something, no akusala, but actually it's not the action, but the citta. So moments of wholesome cittas arising, no asavas. And at moments of akusala, there are different degrees of akusala. So this is why we talk about the anusayas, which are there at each moment, carried like microbes, but not arising. And then we talk about the asavas, which is the very subtle akusala, not known. The attachment now, so subtle, it's not known, even in between the words spoken about dhammas, the asavas are arising. By the time the akusala is apparent, for example, at moments of enjoying the lunch or moments of being irritated or bored, or then it's not asava because it is the akusala that is apparent. The kalesa are there, the nivaranas are there. So it's a very, very subtle clinging with or without wrong view and ignorance that we're talking about when there's no obvious akusala arising. The
Yeah,
very,
but
very subtle attachment, even now when visible object is seen, before
Yeah,
there's
but
any impression of the color or the shape or the form.
just for me, I'm realizing for the first time that in moments of kusala chitta, that there is no sense of I. I was not aware of that. So yeah, that's
At
really
those
interesting.
moments.
Yeah,
For those,
exactly. Yeah.
as Anne said, just for those brief moments, at a moment of metta, no sense of I. At
Yeah.
a moment of generosity, no sense of I, because the object is the well-being of the others. But so quickly, it's my metta, my generosity, my friend, someone there, something
Yeah,
there.
of course. Yeah.
And also at moments of dosa, there's no I either. Can't be wrong view at moments of dosa.
And John, I have a question.
Hello,
And what?
Sukin. Nice to hear from
Hello,
you.
Sukin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
great to
Good.
hear
thinking.
you,
You're sounding
Sukin.
great, Sukin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Good.
going back home today.
Oh,
Right.
very happy to hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sukin, what would you like to say?
Yeah. I'm wondering now, we're talking about the four asavas. One of them is ditthasava, and definitely when ditti arises, mana cannot arise. So I'm wondering, what is mana in terms of asava?
Well, it's not one of the asavas, is it?
It's not one of the asavas. Does that mean that mana does not arise at that level, at the unknown level?
I don't think it does, but I think I've heard Ajahn say that she would think. I've heard Ajahn express the view that only those realities that are asavas can arise at very subtle levels. But it seems to me that any tendency can occur at a subtle level. So perhaps we should. I don't want to say too much because I know Ajahn has views on this, and I think we should hear her views. Ajahn, the question from Sukin is whether conceit mana can arise at subtle levels such that it's not known.
What about when it's kamasava?
We can't hear you, Ajahn.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that all kinds of kiles, akusala dhamma can be asava?
Not sure, Thanachan. That's why the question. It seems that
Who knows?
only the Buddha knows and
So,
teach us when we understand.
so if we try to understand his words, it can be the understanding of the truth a little more, not just
Yes.
our own idea, which covers up the truth. So now, is there you? See, it's there, but no need to say that I am. But it's there already by akusal moment, which is so very, very deep as I all the time of akusala. But only when Buddha taught about what kind of asava can be the moment of akusala which can be known by deeds and speech. For example, when there is metta, it's not mana at all. But who knows? Because they arise and fall away in split seconds, one after the other. So it cannot be known precisely, but we learn to understand it. At moment of mana, there cannot be ditthi. Otherwise, there must be ditthi all the time and mana all the time. But in truth, what moment of citta arises with ditthi and what moment of citta arises with mana, they cannot arise together because they are different. At moment of mana, no thought at all about the ditthi. It's just I and I and I, better or lower and so on. And at moment of ditthi, at moment of kusala, there's no time for ditthi to arise, to appear. And if we understand the tittasava, we can say that when it is not moment of kusala, it's there, but it does not arise with what kind of citta and so on. That's why we learn to understand just a little more of that which is so complex from moment to moment in eons and eons to be known little by little and to begin to understand. And the point is to understand that there are so many things that cannot be known. That's why there are so many different citta, by way of chati, by way of kusala and akusala and vipaka, by way of plane of existence and so on. Who knows? We don't know anything at all. We don't know that now how many moments citta arises, experience that which is now appearing in split seconds. We don't know, but we learn to understand. That's why all dhammas are covered up by its very, very quickly arising and falling away in split seconds. So we learn to understand the word about no self at all. That is wrong understanding, and how to let go the self without understanding the very deep and subtle ditthi taken all the time for this and that, this person, that person, and mana, and so on. That's why just learn to understand. There must be doubt, for sure, when that reality does not appear to be known as it is right now. It appears as something, the TV, screen, and so on, but not as just only different colors and only one color experienced at a time. How much ignorance, how much wrong understanding, and what is asava, which is so very deep, and what is kilesa, and what is nivarana, different levels of unwholesome realities. So now just learn to understand as much as we can, because there must be doubt, even there is the idea of the word as Dhamma, but so many thoughts had been accumulated to be doubt of this and that all the time. That's why now just learn about the truth by word that Buddha said to be understanding, little by little, developed. Panya Parami together with Vriya Parami, Satya Parami. And it's good to have discussion on Dhamma, its blessings too, Mangala, because it's time to have the truth cleared by any suspect or doubt. So as much as we can know, there are dhammas and there are different nama dhamma and rupa, just to understand little by little. Now, there's not yet the understanding of the seeing, only seeing, not the object which is experienced. But how can there be the moment of understanding, just the seeing, nothing there to be known? Otherwise, it's not the time to study the characteristic of nama and to experience it as just the moment which there's no shape, no form, no smell, only that which no shape, nothing at all, only experiencing not the object experience, just the characteristic of that which experience the object. I may talk not direct to the question, but to understand how subtle Dhamma is. Each one is so very subtle, even asava. Just learn to understand. It's there from birth to death. And when it's their moment of asava, not moment of kusala, that cannot be known what is what because they are all complex, just there together. So a little more understanding of the truth build up
Yes, thank
a
you,
little more
Tanachan.
confidence.
You've not answered directly, but you've given a very important reminder, Tanachan, such as that when we're talking about Ditthasabha and the self, and it's there when we have such questions as to the kind, for example, the kind that I was asking, and that itself conditions doubt because of the not understanding. And what's important is just to understand, to hear, and slowly, just not try to get answers for everything, but be reminded about what's important to understand, what can be understood, and what should be understood, rather than trying to get answers for everything.
And a little more at moment of doubt, it's not asava. See? Because everyone knows that moment doubt, right? That's why we learn to be careful considering, not just follow the word and the translation, but the truth of it, the characteristic, the nature of it, beyond anyone can think about or can imagine.
And even now, there can be the very subtle, clinging with or without mana, the impression of I there, not Ditthasava, but Kamasava, with or without mana, unknown, even while talking. And I think Carmen is ready to speak again. Go ahead, Carmen.
Yeah, first of all, I love the discussion of today. And I can get my mind around that if we are not, if we're doing whatever, and if we are not aware, but still there's a sense of I can wrap my mind about that. But I cannot wrap my mind about the fact that this is only in the moments of greed, or in the moments, but not in the moments when I'm angry, or when I'm doing, or when otherwise the chitta is doing kusala. There is no subtle sense of I involved. That is really difficult to wrap my mind around it in a logical sense, because this really subtle presence of a feeling of I keeps the whole thing together, right? And keeps me going in samsara. But let's say I have a really angry life. I'm almost angry all the time. Then there's not so much sense of an I, even though it's subtle.
There could be the sense of I arising intermingled with the anger.
Yes.
Different
But
moments.
it's exactly.
Yeah.
But
and
let's
the same
say
with the kusala too. There could be moments of kusala and
of course,
attachment or even wrong view arising in between. But sense of I think we have to appreciate that we talk about a sense of I. It could mean different things for different people or at different moments. It doesn't all mean that it's wrong view of self. Because I as a label can have many uses.
Yeah.
Just like when we talk about a cup or a table, it doesn't mean every time we mention cup or table, there's a belief in the existence of those things in an absolute sense. And just another point, a comment I was going to make, which Betty might find interesting if she's still here. I can't see her on the screen, but when there's doubt, there's no wrong view either at such moments. Doubt about reality is different from wrong view about reality. And this helps us to appreciate that it's not just thinking about the way things are or thinking in terms of things being real. It's something stronger than just the concept of this or that. It's having an idea about its existence or in the absolute sense. Thank you. Anything more, Carmen, on that, on your point, though? Because obviously the person who has a lot of anger will not necessarily have any less or any more wrong view than another person, just because there's many moments of dosa which can't arise, at which moments there can't be wrong view. But the person who goes through life without ever thinking about reality and the way things are, without giving it another thought, may have less wrong view than someone who thinks about reality but gets it wrong.
Yeah, and wrong view of self is in ditthi, right? And not in ignorance.
If it's wrong view, it's ditthi. That's
Yeah,
wrong
but
view
wrong
is
view of self. Because I'm still, and I think I come back to my issue, what I had years ago.
What do you understand by wrong view of self, though?
I mean, like
wrong
what we
view
are talking today.
There is a self.
A self,
right?
Yeah.
So just to when one has the thought, it's me who's tired, for example. I'm tired. Doesn't have to imply a wrong view of self.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm back actually to my question years ago: is why is there no ditthi involved in dosa, for instance? Because even in the, but yeah, I have considered it so many times, and I'm back to that one.
And Carmen, when you mentioned before about the sense of self as the glue in between, the asava is there in between, like the glue. So at moments of dosa, no asava, but there are different degrees of dosa, and the asavas are there in between. Why is there so much annoyance about this or that? Because there is so much clinging to self, so much clinging to what's seen, heard, to how things are. The asavas are there all the time in between, like the glue, unknown. And I think we just have a few minutes, so Jan should have the last words.
Who's angry? Yes. Who's angry? The answer
Mostly
is
I am.
And who's like?
I.
See, who thinks?
Conventionally, I think.
So it's aswa, unknown, at moment of thinking, at moment of seeing, right? Seeing just sees, no understanding, no idea, no view about seeing or what the object at all. It just arises to see. But who sees? Different from moment of seeing. So at moment of getting angry, angry appears not as aswa, because it cannot be aswa, but the one who is getting angry is there I or not I? At
In the
moment of
moment,
being,
no I, but afterwards there is I.
it cannot arise with anger, right?
Yeah.
But the I which is angry is there as asava, unknown.
Can you say that again?
I am angry. The
It's thinking.
asava cannot arise with anger
Mhm.
because anger appears there. And the one who is getting angry is asava. Right?
Yeah, but not in that moment, right?
Because I'm angry. I'm all the
Yeah, but
time.
then they're thinking. That
No
is
matter
not
if,
the anger.
Different
no.
moments, but so
Yeah.
many of those moments in between.
So we just talk about the I as Didasava, Avijjasava is there. Because I'm angry. I'm angry. Everyone knows I am angry, and I also know I am angry, not the other. So asava, Didasava, the I is there at moment of I
Yes.
am angry.
But in moments when there is greed, in
Yes.
that exact moment, there is also an I. But not in the moment of when there is exact anger, there's no I. I
At
think
moment,
Jonathan.
At moment of greed also, no wrong view.
There's ditthi. There can be ditthi in
Not at the moment of pure attachment.
With or without ditthi, yes, when it's just clinging like now, clinging to what's seen. So
because
clinging can be with or without ditthi.
Yeah, but it can be with ditthi, right? So in the moment of clinging, there can be, there is a sense of I. No, Jonathan.
It seems that way, but if moment to moment we are told that they would be different moments, the moment of clinging and the moment of wrong view would have to be different moments, but they arise so quickly intermingled that it may appear that both are happening concurrently.
No, but because in a moment, in a chitta moment with lobha, there can be ditthi involved, right?
Yes.
Well, ditthi
so in that moment,
ditthi arises with a lobha rooted chitta. Yes. But when you talk about it, lobha as attachment, liking something, then liking a sense object, for example, then no wrong view at that moment, that precise moment of consciousness.
Yeah, but in the exact moment of lobha chitta, in that exact moment, there is a sense of self, a wrong view of self. Subtle. It can be subtle.
I think we're going to have to continue this next week. So it's a good discussion. Yeah.
And now I'm curious for a week.
And even now,
Sure.
lobha with or without ditthi. And it can be known or it can be apparent or most of the time as asava. So that's why kamasava is clinging without ditthi and ditthasava is clinging with wrong view, unknown even now. So I think we will continue next time. Actually, I've just remembered next Saturday there's no discussion because Ajahn will be away, so it will be in 2 weeks' time.
No,
In your message, Sarah, it says the 12th, but the Saturday is 11.
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry, there is a discussion on the Saturday, no discussion on Sunday and Monday. Quite right. That you can continue next week, Carmen. Thank